Good evening from the United Kingdom, my current and temporary space of living and loving. My name is Bretminster Fullofit, and I'll be joined in a moment by my co-host, Mark Smith. And we are kicking off the last broadcast of the moment for Beaming RegenEra, which is in support of a project called RegenEra. You can see the links here. Let's see if I get this right. There you go, above my head. Go check these out. This is something that's coming out of what's called the DesignScience.Studio, which is being supported by the Buckminster Fuller Institute and Habritual. And what the DesignScience.Studio really is to some degree is an incubator for the intersection of art, science, and comprehensive whole systems design. And 144 of us came together about 8 months ago in August 2020 to be part of this first cohort together. And we've been going through a process as a group for whatever it is, about 8 months now. And this week really was the culmination of our time together. And this past Sunday, on March 21st, on the equinox, I guess, we launched a collective project called RegenEra. And RegenEra is really this mythical storyverse. It's a floating city that has descended here into this realm for what is called the Decade of Design Science. So it's going to be around for 10 years to help lead this movement of the Regenaissance. And it's a story world, so it's going to have multimedia, transmedia. It's going to give portals and access to all of our different projects in many different ways. Hopefully tonight we'll go through some of the different experiences we can show you. There's something called Topia. There's something called the Museum of Regenerative Art, which is a virtual reality space, and all of the different projects that are involved. And really the significant mission of the RegenEra and the DesignScience.Studio is picking up a cue from the late, great, and always with us Buckminster Fuller to reveal how, and it's a big question, to reveal how we're going to help all of us have this world work for all of life. So it's a big mission, but we're all super devoted to it, and we're all really glad to be here, and we're inviting everyone in the world to pick up the baton with us. We all know that so many of you out there are already doing this work in whatever words and languages you use. You're just doing good work in the world, helping people, whether it's the climate change or poverty or all these different solutions. But one of the real big questions is, how do we do these things all together as a living system, right? How do we do it as a holistic, unified, co-creative effort, so we're not being redundant and we're really optimizing as we form whole systems of greater complexity, consciousness, and freedom. So we're here tonight in this last week. Mark and I have created this project called Beaming RegenEra, and it's kind of a mishmash of late night TV, an Olympic broadcast, and we're here to celebrate the different artists and innovators who are part of this DesignScience.Studio and document the unfolding for the next 10 years and do interviews and in-depth pieces and have these great, amazing conversations about all the topics that are involved. So we're going to continue starting next month at some point and over the years. And we've had an amazing week. This was something we decided to do in the last minute. And it's really been wonderful with all sorts of spontaneous moments of music and poetry and great conversations and what we call backcasting or future casting, and really, as we demonstrated on this past Friday, what you might call play casting. So really being in the spirit of play and having a great time as we celebrate our way through co-creation, innovation, regeneration, manifestation, and invocation, right? Really invoking as if we were in the year 2030 or the year 2050, or even coming from a timeless space and a spaceless place, and invoking this world that we all want to live in. And for a lot of us, it's important to understand or to experiment with this idea that we're no longer really martyrs or trying to fix things or fix people or fix the world. What we're doing is we're following our intuition, we're following our purpose, our highest callings. You know, there's many different words that we can use for these things. And one of my favorite quotes on this topic is by a man named Howard Thurman, and that quote is, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs is more people that have come alive." So I would take the liberty of speaking on behalf of all the design science members and say, for the most part, most of us are here doing what makes us come alive, because when you do what makes you come alive, everything that needs to get done, so to say, gets done. So we're inverting a little bit this idea of production coming first, or even the triple bottom line. And I think we're moving into a space of what you might call a unified bottom line, or where life is the bottom line, and really looking at us, all of us around the world, the people, the actual humans, the creators who are responsible for bringing into existence, into manifesting the type of life we all want to have, where all life is thriving, where people have what they need and they can give according to their abilities. So that's what we've been celebrating to some degree all week, and we've seen amazing artwork. When you guys check out these links, regenera.art, regenera.city, you're going to see some of the most fabulous hearts, minds, and imaginations that you've ever come across. And it's going to be an epic 10 years. And I just want to be clear that this is inclusive. This is about all of us on the planet. It's an invitation. You know, it's not a dictate or a mandate. It's an invitation to follow one's bliss, to find your true nature, to express whatever it is that your higher self or God or whatever word you might like to use, who you truly are and what you came here to experience and contribute to the overall tapestry that's being woven. And that's a little bit about what the Regenaissance is all about. So we're combining the word, obviously, Renaissance and regeneration. Um, there are several different definitions, and people have different ideas of what this word regeneration means. So over the coming months and days and weeks and years, we're certainly going to have some conversations and inquiry and dialogue around some of these terms, just to have shared meaning and to be able to make sense of things, as some people call it, sense making, and then maybe even go beyond sense making into myth making, because stories and creativity are so important, really, for the human species, is to have these stories that glue us together. And one of the definitions of regeneration actually is a spiritual renewal or revival. So I know for me, what excites me, what gives me what we call, through one of our mentors, myself, vocational arousal, what gets me excited to create and to communicate, is this idea of revival and renewal. So we're here to celebrate the final day. Today is the actual last day of 8 days of celebration. Again, it all began on the 21st of March with the launch of RegenEra through the DesignScience.Studio. And in the next few minutes, hopefully we'll have some people start coming through and passing in to start celebrating. There's a session going on right now, the last session being broadcast over on the DesignScience.Studio page. So a lot of people are finishing up there, and my co-host Mark is finishing up there. So until then, you've got me. And let's see, does anyone watching have any questions or topics that they want to get into? Please leave a comment. Arya, I see your hand up. You want to chime in and and
Yes,
ride with me?
yes, Brad, I will. So first of all, thank you, thank you, thank you. How much ever I say that, it won't be enough for what you have brought alive
Oh.
in me. So